How do you two balance your personal and professional lives, especially when you are both so deeply involved in your project?
When you're working together, it's very difficult. What keeps us sane is we don't spend so much time on same projects together. Come to the office together, we leave together. That sort of a situation. So the balance is, and honestly, we don't care about balance. I think we enjoy our births all the past, and that's what connected us in the initial years also, because we both love design, we both love the profession we are in. So for us, it's just like it's a way of life. We don't complain or buy a lip come to work.
Hi everyone, welcome to Walk the Talk with Balveer. Today I have this dashing couple with us, Priyanka and Piyush Mehra from PS Design. Hi Priyanka. So Piyush, you have such a rich architectural lineage, starting from your father's teachings to working with Dominique Perrault in Paris. How did these early experiences shape your vision and your approach at PS Design?
So I approach lineage in a slightly different way. It's not necessary that you have to come from an architectural family to be able to do good. It's about how you learn as you go along and how you apply yourself at the jobs. Of course, growing up, it was like a slight push for me that dad used to like take me to sites wherein the slab is getting casted. So I used to see, okay, I was aware, okay, this is a slab, this is what a casting is, this is how the reinforcement works. I had a basic idea. And of course, uh, going back to France with Dominic, I first learned more about how to run an organization, how a big office functions. So every different space, every different place has like gives you a different sort of an exposure like how, yeah, so that's how it worked. In fact, I would like to add to this that like after Dominic, I started my career with Priyanka. She was already running the firm by then. So this was a different sort of an exposure. It was the kind of boutique practice that she used to run at that point of time. So there was a lot more exposure with respect to me getting different, like better design options. So, like working with Dominic was a huge office, 100 architects, big hierarchy. Like as a beginner, there you don't really get to even know who the client is. You just have to work on small details, smaller drawings and such. But of course, like working with Priyanka, it was okay. This is your project. Do it. That's how, in general, typically how she functions. So it was a better, like, uh, sort of a fast track learning for me.
Priyanka, to you, your designs uniquely blend classical and contemporary elements with an emotional touch. How do you manage to stay true to your creative vision while meeting your client expectations?
I never thought of being anything other than an architect ever in my life. Had no other aspiration. I think I wanted to be an architect while I was in class 8 or something like that. Very early on. I don't have an architecture degree, but design came naturally. It just came to me because I was obviously inspired by, a book I had read as a young child. Um, but that book had a very emotional element in it. And that is why when I design, I think the first thing I love to do is connect with people. So I will always be interested in my clients, their history, their family, who they are, why they are, how they function as a family. What do they have in their family that I can bring out in the house that I'm designing for them? So for me, that emotion is very important when I design. So and it's always been like that. So I mean, I generally don't enjoy working on commercial projects because there's no direct connect. Yes, you're still designing for a user, and I do understand that there are still people who will be using it. But the way I can interact with the family, knowing how they will be using the house, it becomes very important for me. Um, so it is something which has always been there with, and I think that is what brings my design onto the table for them. I always I'll always tell them what is there in your family that I can integrate into design, so that you don't feel that you're moving from somewhere old to somewhere new. You always feel like you're into maybe a better version of your earlier home.
Wow.
I always love it when people come and say, okay, this was, we were designing a house for a client in Jalakar, and we had beautiful artwork. We had beautiful accessories. Something that will have been handed down from his fathers and grandfathers, And I enjoyed it so much because, for me, bringing a part of that history into his new home was so critical. Every element, how it's going to be placed, how it is going to be done, that becomes a part of the whole design process.
Correct.
So, a house is always about telling stories. You want to walk into a place and you want to feel that, wow, what's the history behind it? There has to be a conversation starter. There has to be something that you look at and then you're like, where did you source this from, or where did you get it from? So even if a client tells me that, okay, we are doing a completely new house, I will never go to a store and buy everything from that single store. A lot of my clients get bothered by it because that's how things are typically displayed, and I'm like, no, it has to have some context, something has to be associated. For me, that emotion is extremely important.
It's like such a deep conversation we just had. The deep answer that I have, Vicky. It's really very heart touching. Because it's very rare to have this combination. Coming to Piyush, your thesis on the Navi Mumbai International Airport was selected for world's best thesis competition in Moscow. Congratulations for that one. How did the achievement influence your career path?
So I took up the project initially as a challenge, that because designing airport, it's quite a complicated process. It's a complicated design, and that's why I chose it. Because I thought, let me challenge myself on this, and I was able to crack it. So like right from being able to crack it to the thesis getting selected, so it was a big moral boost, of sort of to say that I can actually design an airport. So that was about it. Like I approach any design as a general problem. As architects, I always say I can design anything. You want a hospital design, I can do it for you. You want a bus stop design, I can do it for you. So design is just a problem, which I like to solve.
Lovely. Priyanka, you often find inspiration in everyday life, from the blue sky to the city textures. Can you share a recent instance where an everyday moment sparkled a design idea?
You know, we were in the Sun Temple couple of months back, Konark, and I saw a lot of course, it's a beautiful temple, beautiful big. Cut to about recent times that I started working on a project where the client was, not from a similar uh, background, but he wanted a very traditional South Indian home. And, there are things that remain in my memory, which I picked up from the temple, which now we are using in his home. Okay, so whether it is how the pillars were placed there, how the detailing of certain elements were, and that is something that now I'm incorporating in a house, so that the inspiration can be from anywhere and everywhere, right? So for me, seeing things at one point in time and incorporating them at a later date is also sort of my journey in design. And I think wherever I travel, I keep those features in my mind. So, must have visited some other temple at some point in time. We are doing a corridor which is lined with these classical um, columns, which we are sourcing from, South India. One of somebody sourcing it for us. So basically, just to bring his heritage and again, when I talk about lineages or heritages, that he is from there and he would want a slice of his history into that home. And that had remained with me. I said, okay, well, let's, of course, a much scaled down version. Can't compare in the scales, but that is what we are bringing into our, design.
So, whoever decides to answer this first, what is one hobby or activity that you both enjoy doing together? outside of your professional lives?
Yeah, I think it's traveling is better because he loves to eat. I don't eat as much.
I travel.
Yeah. He travels to eat and I love to travel. So I would say traveling is what we enjoy, do a lot together.
Traveling is something we connect on. It's still to you. So it's
Yeah.
never
We're just both excited the moment we say, okay, let's go.
different things, of course.
We-
She'll be looking more about where to go. So she'll plan the entire thing. We're going to this city, you have to see this, that, and the other thing. I'll be like, okay, this city, what is famous for in terms of food? Okay. Same place, but like different agendas.
Day and evening, both covered well. How do you two balance your personal and professional lives, especially when you are both so deeply involved in your projects?
Balance, what's that?
I have seen a lot of couples talking about this thing, the work-life balance. I don't know how people manage it because, of course, if you're in the same industry, then there is a certain overlap that happens. And after a point of time, you don't even realize that you are discussing work.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just having lunch a couple of hours back. I was having something. She asked something about it. I was started showing her on the desktop. And so that's pretty normal. It's not as if that we are having lunch, so okay, let's cut off from work.
It's very difficult. You know,
It's only present now.
yeah, because you end up having conversations all the time about something or the other. It's when you're working together, it's very very difficult. What keeps us sane is that we don't spend so much time on same projects together. So we do a lot of projects on our own. So my project would be something else, and his would be something else, and we are working on a similar project, with different aspects. So that sort of keeps the sanity in place. There are times that we don't talk to each other the whole day. There are days that if I'm traveling or he's traveling, we wouldn't meet for a couple of days. So that sort of still keeps us both sane, because otherwise, morning to night, you're practically together. We come to the office together, we leave together. That sort of a situation. So the balance is, and honestly, we don't care about balance. I think we enjoy our births all the past, and that's what connected us in the initial years also, because we both love design, we both love the profession we are in. So for us, it's just like it's a way of life. We don't complain or buy a lip come to work. Oh, this is so much stressful. No, it's okay.
That's
This is what we
awesome.
love. Yeah.
That's awesome. Priyanka, as an avid traveler, how do your travel influence your design perspective and creativity?
Like I mentioned earlier also, I think for me, if you'll put me in one place, I'll be dead. Like I just cannot be in the office all the time. Like on Teams, is oh my god, oh Priyanka is in the office, let's get hold of her. I love traveling for various reasons, not just for work itself, but for looking at the world. There is so much to see, there is so much to learn. From cultures, from places, from nature. There's inspiration everywhere, and unless I'm exposed to that information, so while people say, yeah, social media is a big source of inspiration or a source of knowledge today, I don't depend on it. I still am very old school. I like to read my books. I like to go to a certain place and read about the history or learn about the history of that place in that particular city or country. And I think that is where my inspiration would really come in. I don't want to see a social media post about some place and learn from it. So for me, that um actual exposure, the touch, feel is very very important.
Makes sense. It actually makes sense. That's how, I mean, that's the difference between theory and practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people said during COVID, oh, Zoom calls are fantastic, and now you can sit in the office and you don't have to travel anywhere, and you can do this. I said, no, not happening at all. I cannot. And I think Piyush also feels the same way, because I mean, we don't want to sit in the office and not do it, not go to, like, I still go to a store to see my saptils, to see marble, or whether to see veneer, whatever it is. I still like to go and physically see it, because I see so much more variety happening there than would come to my office.
100%. Yeah.
Also, at the time of business that we're in, travel is essential for us in terms of inspiration. So that always helps. If you're just stuck in a single place, single city, then you just start repeating what you're designing, what you're thinking. It always helps.
Yeah. You have worked on projects across various locations, including Dubai and Hyderabad. How do regional cultures and environments influence your design process? Whoever wants to answer this.
So uh, it does influence the execution process. I would say design process remains the same for me at least. Because of course different cities have different temperaments, different speeds. We are used to doing projects in Bombay, wherein there is a separate, different work culture. But at the same time, you put me in Indore, it's a extremely laid back culture. So the construction would be subsequently slower. The explaining the details will be that much difficult. So you have to make better drawings or much more comprehend drawings uh, for the contractors there to understand. So it's more to do with execution purpose with cities.
Lastly, would you like to say something, Hamlu?
No, I mean, I do, like I mentioned earlier, also, I do like to bring a bit of that cultural element,
Where you mentioned in the page.
Yes. For me, it is sort of important. It has to be relevant to the site. Uh, I don't like to design out of context. Although, fortunately or unfortunately, world has sort of shrunk. So if a client does tell me I want a Greek house in Bombay, I'm saying why? Why, why do you want a Greek house in Bombay? Now I want the Greek interiors. I want old white interiors. Yeah, it's all fancy and everything, but some cultural reference always has to be there. I think it just keeps you in place, that keeps you grounded in a way.
Lastly, can you give us a sneak peek into any exciting upcoming projects that PS Design is working on?
Oh, I think there's a lot of really exciting work that we're doing right now. We are working on a beautiful bungalow in Delhi, uh, which was which is like a brick clad house that we're doing, and that's one most exciting project that we're doing right now. We are working on rather a large residential bungalow in Dubai uh, for an Indian client. We're doing a couple of housing schemes in Goa, uh, and then there is one that we're working in Sadama. We are working for clients in Raigad, again a large housing scheme. So, which is like a multi uh, function. Like there is there's commercial, residential.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, there's lots of really good work happening for us. It's good.
Awesome. Wishing you all the best for that. I'm sure you guys will kill it as usual. So one last question on ASTEC. ASTEC completed 18 years this year. So do you have anything to say to them about ASTEC?
I think for me, ASTEC sort of set the precedent for every single design show in the country. Nobody can still match the scale. People have been trying. But the way ASTEC brings the materials, the the entire industry together for us as architects, it's fantastic. And I mean, you all are doing a commendable job. Like I said, that it's still difficult for most people to match it up. So,
Also, I like the way Sola evolved, like starting with just being a regular design fair. So now it's also several design curations happening. So it's not just a trade fair anymore. It's more like a design show. So that's, I think, is something new and nice.
Thank you.